So the command pattern, in Dart, because it's awesome. Part of the power of this relatively simple pattern is its ability to associate actions with multiple receivers. We've already seen an invoker, the button, send movement commands to a robot receiver. Following the same pattern, it's easy to send commands to a camera on the robot to turn the camera on. The Dart code that implements this looks just like the movement commands from last night. Given a camera class and a camera instance that is associated with the robot, we can create start recording command that it also implements the command interface. The receiver of this command is going to be the camera. And when we call this action, we're going to tell the camera to start recording. We'll also add an undo, which will stop the recording. And while we're at it, we'll also create a stop recording command. Down in the client code, create two new buttons, one for starting the recording. It's going to be a new button with a label of record. And it's going to create a new instance of the start recording command that we just created. And we're going to use the camera that's a property of the robot. We'll do the same thing with the stop recording command. And at the very end of all of our robot movements, we'll start recording, wait for a little while, and then press the stop recording button. Run the code, and there we go. Able to stop recording, start recording, and stop recording. That is some good, clean fun, but things get really interesting when receivers go meta, like with last night's history class. Just like the movement and recording commands, this command class can associate a receiver, which is history, with an action, which is undo. From there, the client code looks very familiar. All right, we'll start by creating an undo command. The receiver is going to be history, so we create a property for that. The undo command constructor is going to take one argument, history. And when we call this command, we're going to do history undo. The action is going to be undo on that history receiver. So we create our undo button, which is again a new button with a label undo. And the command that's associated with it is undo command. As in the history object, actually we'll have to create that, so we'll get rid of last night's history and create a history instance up here that we can use. And then we'll do a button undo press. And to make things a little clearer, we'll remove some of the extraneous movement commands. We're going to go up twice and then undo. So there we go. We move up once, we move up twice, and then we undo. We go back, we undo the north command, we go back down to 0, 1. This raises an interesting point, however. Unlike the robot movement commands and the camera operation commands, an undo command is not undoable, at least not typically. If a robot moves up twice, one undo moves the robot back down 1. A second undo should not undo that undo. It should move the robot back to the starting point. In our code, if we press the undo button twice, we're going to get an error. The first time we try to undo, we undo the instance of the north command. But right now, the next time we press undo, we're undoing the undo command. We don't want to do that. So we add a guard clause. If C is an undo command, then we return when we're adding to the history. And that does it. Now when we press the undo command the first time, we undo and move north command. The second time, we also undo and move north command. So we move north twice, we undo both of those, and we end up back at the origin, 0, 0. That does it for this screencast. Up next, we'll talk about macro commands. As always, find out more at designpatternsinDart.com. Thanks.